question number 14, we want to be able to graph the function. So first, we're going to graph the absolute value of x plus 3. Okay, so what that means is if we have our values of x, we're going to pick values of x and then we're going to plug it into the absolute value of x plus 3. So let's pick a couple negative numbers. So if we pick negative 2, then the absolute value of negative 2 plus 3 gives us positive 1, and the absolute value of 1 is 1. So the ordered pair is negative 2 and then 1, which is our x and then y. If we pick negative 1, we have the absolute value of negative 1 plus 3, which gives us 2, and the absolute value of 2 is 2. So we have negative 1 and then 2. If we pick 0, we have the absolute value of 0 plus 3, which gives us the absolute value of 3, which is equal to 3. So we have 0 and then 3. If we go to positive 1, we have the absolute value of 1 plus 3, which gives us the absolute value of 4. So therefore, that's 4, so we have 1 and then 4. If we pick the value of 2, the absolute value of 2 plus 3 gives us 5, and the absolute value of 5 is 5. So we have 2 and then 5. Now let's go ahead and plot these points on our number line. So we have negative 2 and then positive 1. We have negative 1 and positive 2. We have 0 and then positive 3. We have 1 and then positive 4. We have 2 and then positive 5. So in this graph, that means we need to go a little bit further with our negative values. So we need to start now at, let's say, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, and let's see what happens there. So if we plug in negative 3 and we add 3, we get 0. So the absolute value of 0 is 0, so we have the ordered pair negative 3, 0. If we plug in negative 4, we have negative 4 plus positive 3 gives us negative 1, and the absolute value of negative 1 is 1, so we have negative 4 and positive 1. If we plug in negative 5 and then we add 3, then we get the absolute value of negative 2, which is positive 2, so we have negative 5 and then positive 2. And if we plug in negative 6 plus 3 is the absolute value of negative 3, which is positive 3. So we have negative 6 and then positive 3. So let's go ahead and plot those points. So we have negative 3 and then 0. We have negative 4 and then 1. We have negative 5 and then 2. And then we have negative 6 and 3. And then if we went one more, the absolute value of negative 7 plus 3 gives us negative 4. That gives us positive 4. So that's negative 7 and then positive 4. So here's negative 7 and then positive 4. And so if you can see here, we're creating a V. At negative 8, we should get a positive 5. So therefore, when we graph this, we're going to graph this V, and that's what an absolute value function does, is it creates this V. Okay, now the next thing now is that we need to look at is 5. That means it's greater than or equal to 5. So that means here, this is where 5 is. So that means it's a horizontal line that's going to cross through here. Okay, so if you take a look at the graph, you can see that we can extend this a little further if we wanted to, and extend this a little further if we wanted to. Now it's telling us that we want us to figure out, okay, where is it above 5? So what parts of the graph is it above 5? So we want to take a look at the x-axis. So if we look at this, we can see here that this line here is above 5. And this line here is above 5. And then what is below 5? Well, we can see that this is what's below 5, and this is what's below 5. Okay, so what it's saying here is that at this point here, that's the point that shows where it is in between, whether it's greater than or equal to or less than. So here, if we take a look at our number line, going from negative infinity to this dot here has a bracket. That means that this green is above that line. Same thing on the right hand side. The green is showing everything that's above the line. So that means that at the value of when x is 2, it's going towards positive infinity. And over here, we have negative 8 going towards negative infinity. And then the purple says everything that's below. So the way we can answer this question is by looking at that interval notation. There's what our graph looks like. And then our interval notation, if you look at what's in blue, we're going from negative infinity to negative 8 with a bracket, and then union, bracket 2 to positive infinity. So that is all the numbers that are above 5. And everything below 5, if they asked for that, would have been the following. It would be everything that's between negative 8 and positive 2, because that would be everything below the value of 5.